Right now, I want to talk about your COE, what it is, how it works, and some important information that you need to know about it. My name is Drew Smith. I'm a licensed loan officer and I specialize in VA loans. So the first thing that you're going to need to have in order to get a VA loan is a COE. This is a certificate of eligibility. Essentially, it's a document from the military stating that you are entitled to use the VA to get a home loan. So there's a couple different ways that you can get it, and it's by serving in the United States military. Now, there are a few other sectors that you can actually get a VA loan through or get entitlement through that aren't signing up for one of the branches and serving, but that's going to be the most common way. So to find that information, you can actually go to the va.gov website, and you can look it up right here, the eligibility requirements for the VA home loan programs. So if we're looking at active duty service members, you need to be active duty for at least 90 continuous days. Then you will meet the eligibility requirements. And then for veterans, it really just depends on when you served. And so you can go look through this list if you served a while ago and you're separated from service. It goes all the way back to, it looks like 1940. So you can click on these to open it up and kind of look through there to see if you would have any entitlement for a VA home loan. You can also be eligible if you served in the National Guard or reserves. So the minimum requirements for that would be you need 6 creditable years in both. So it's going to be the same for reserves and National Guard. And again, you can just find this right on the website. It's showing here that you need 6 creditable years. However, if you were given orders and activated, it goes back to that same requirement for active duty. You need 90 days of continuous non-training active duty service, and then you would be entitled to use your VA home loan benefit. So let's go ahead and assume that you are entitled to your VA home loan. You've got your COE. Now, if you don't have your COE, you can get it a couple different ways. You can go to your benefits portal and find it there, or you can talk to a loan officer like myself and give them a little bit of information and they can request it on your behalf. Now, not every lender is going to have access to that, but since I specialize in VA loans, I have third-party access to a VA portal that allows me to grab COEs upon request. I can do that for my borrowers. Sometimes we will have an issue that when we're trying to request that, they don't have it automated in their system. So in that case, what we have to do is we have to request it manually. So with that, I walk through the steps with the borrower. We put in some personal information. A lot of times we're going to need their separation papers. And then in that case, we would use typically their DD Form 214. We submit that. Typically, we get it back within a week or so. 3 days is usually the average, and we get their COE. Or we get information that they are not eligible and they want more information. And in that case, I usually tell my borrowers that they need to do a little bit more research and figure out if they have entitlement or if we're missing something as far as paperwork or something like that. So let's go ahead and assume that we do have our entitlement. This is what your COE is going to look like. Now, this is just an example. This is not somebody's real COE, but it says up here, Certificate of Eligibility, and it says for loan guarantee benefits. So this is what allows you to get a home loan through the VA. So it'll have some other information here, the name of who we're talking about, the branch that they served in, and over here, it's going to say funding fee, exempt or non-exempt. So in this example, it says exempt, service connected with monthly awards. So in this case, they're getting some benefits. Another thing that you will see here on the COE when I'm looking at it, if you are service connected, I'm going to see what that monthly disability award is or what other award it may be. And it's going to show here what that award is. Okay, and then it's just got some other information here. It shows you how to calculate what you can borrow if you have some entitlement used. Kind of gets wordy and complicated, especially if you're not in the industry and you don't understand the jargon. And then a lot of this dates back to, 30 years ago when they started these things, and they really haven't updated the numbers. So there's a little bit of math involved when we're looking at calculating how much entitlement you have left if you have some used. So, I'm not going to overwhelm you with too much information, but you have two types of entitlement. You have Tier 1 and Tier 2. Tier 1 entitlement looks like this COE that we're looking at here. In this table here, there's nothing showing. This is Tier 1 entitlement. They have 100% entitlement. Tier 2 entitlement would show something in one of these columns. So it would show a loan number. It'd show what state they're in, the loan amount, the date of the loan, and then the entitlement charged. And then the status here. So there's two ways that you can have entitlement or something showing up in these columns. One is that you have an active loan. So you have a mortgage, you bought a house, you used your VA loan, and it's showing right here. Another way is that you used your VA loan, you don't have the house anymore, but the reason you don't have the house is because it was foreclosed on or deed in lieu. So there was a default on that loan, and in that case you have entitlement charged on your COE, which limits the amount that you can borrow. So with Tier 1 entitlement, like this one again that I'm showing here, there is no loan limit, excuse me. So with other loan programs, with conventional and FHA, there's something called a county loan limit. And it's for every state and every county, depending on where you are and the median or the average cost of a home, you have a loan limit on how much you can borrow. Through the VA loan, that does not apply. You can do something called a high balance VA loan, and you can borrow as much as you can qualify for. If you can afford the monthly payment and you meet all of the requirements for the VA loan, it doesn't matter how much you're looking to borrow. If you can qualify for it, you can borrow it. There is no loan limit. But in other counties, there are loan limits, and that's going to apply, with other loan products in whatever county you're in, there are loan limits, okay? So when you're looking at Tier 2 entitlement, so you do have some entitlement used, you are going to be capped at a certain percentage depending on how much entitlement you have used and what the county loan limit is. You may be required to put a down payment on the home that you're purchasing. See, one of the great benefits about the VA home loan is that you can do 100% financing, which means there's no down payment. With FHA, conventional, you could be putting down anywhere between 3% up to 10% as a down payment. VA loan, you don't have to do that unless you have Tier 2 entitlement. There's a calculation that we can do depending on the price of the home that you're looking to purchase, the county loan limit, and how much entitlement you have left. Once you do the calculations on that, there could be some situations where there is a down payment required, and it just depends. I can't give you an answer on what it would be. It just depends on the circumstance and situation. But just to let you know that even though with the VA loan, one of the benefits is 100% financing, you could be required to put a down payment depending on your entitlement and what it looks like. So really that's it. The COE, it's a simple piece of paper. It tells you that you are entitled to use the VA home loan benefit. Hopefully that makes sense. If you've got more questions about it, please put it in the description of this video. Also, if you want to learn more about VA home loans, I suggest that you check out this video next.